it's a part of the game, you know, when you're at sea and you know that you have to get ready for the worst. And then when you know that some guys are coming to collect you, and you feel way more better.
The rescue boat fortunately arrived in time. These two sailors were happy to be back on dry land. Phil and Mark, Sky News.
Thank you.
Now, efforts to tackle the gender pay gap could be overshadowed as women tend to underestimate their earning potential, while, guess what, men overestimate theirs. That's according to research, not my own views. Yes. Yeah. And it can lead to women being less likely to push for higher wages or even to seek a better paid position. Well, let's get more on all of this now. We're joined by Heather Melville. She's a board member at the Chartered Management Institute. And we've heard this before, haven't we, that women aren't very good at coming forward, but we're now actually seeing not only are they not very good at coming forward, but they're underestimating their own value.
Well, this is something we've seen through the Chartered Institute, whereby the women that come through, great at the early stages of their career, and actually by that time it's equal. But actually as they go through the ranks of the organisation, they doubt their abilities, they don't put themselves forward, they're not very good at telling everybody about what they do. And dare I say, our male colleagues will let you know if they've done something great.
Yeah.
That whole thing around appraisal time, actually, they'll come up with a list of things that they need to work on, and the guy will come up and say, I've only got 1 or 2 things I need to work on, and I've got a plan to make that happen. So I think the biggest thing for me is, around women is giving them sponsors and mentors to help them with those difficult conversations, and particularly the one around asking for money.
Now that's interesting, isn't it? Because, you know, when it comes to appraisal time, should women, would this be your advice, should women be going into every appraisal every year and saying, hey, let's talk about how much I'm paid, what I'm worth, and how much more you should be giving me?
So actually the first thing they should be going with is their achievements for that year. Okay, we need to educate them to be able to articulate what their achievements have been during that year, because typically they haven't had time to write all that down, and they'll go in with half of that, myself included sometimes. So I've learnt that have your achievements articulated, and actually by that time during the session your boss will be doing exactly what you're both doing now, shaking your heads. So at the end of that conversation, it's very hard for them to say, actually you don't deserve a pay rise.
But do male bosses take advantage of this fact that women are quite scared to go and ask the question in the first place? So if they are confident enough to ask the question, they can just easily say no, because I'm not going to ask it twice.
So, you know, I think it's a female thing, because I remember last year I had to ask, I didn't have to ask, but I wanted to ask for a pay rise for a new job with our chief exec. And actually I was really nervous about it, and she said to me, why on earth would you of all people be nervous? So I realised that's something inside of me, and she actually said, if you didn't ask for a pay rise, I'd be wondering whether you were the right person to do the job. So I do believe inside of us, it's from an early age, we have that inept thought in our minds that people are going to say no, so we don't ask. And we need to understand what our value is, and you can do that by having conversations with mentors, the work that we do on CMI, the whole leadership and management, because we also need to equip managers with the skills to be able to identify their talent as they come through the door.
Do you think we should go down the same road that Iceland have gone down, where now by law, they're the first country in the world to make companies publish their pay for men and for women, to make sure that everyone is being paid equally?
So we're starting to do some work here in the UK, right? So CMI have been working with the government, where in the next couple of weeks, the whole pay gap, companies with over more than 250 employees have got to actually publish what those gaps are. So I think we're starting to do some work in that way. And, you know, when people come into the workplace, typically they are paid exactly the same money. There isn't an issue. And so where the issue is the development of the female talent, so that they're getting the opportunities to bid for the bigger roles, and with that comes the bigger salaries.
OK, good advice. Heather Melville, really good to talk to you. Thanks very much for coming in. Let's get a check on the sport now with Jackie.
Yes, after the break, we've got a miracle. It's very hard to believe what Barcelona did last night, but they did it.
It's 10 o'clock. This is Sky News at 10. In a fast-moving, unpredictable world, news you can rely on.
They have no protective masks or protective equipment at all.
The best coverage, the best analysis, the best original journalism, all in one place.
The murder rate is rising.
We're now in no man's land.
Get today's news and tomorrow's headlines on News at 10 every night, only on Sky News.
What makes Ring the world's most advanced